Hello friends. Okay, today we can start on with another topic, that is logical reasoning. Okay, logical reasoning. The subtopics for today's class are types of definition, valid and invalid sentences, moods of sentences. So as far as logical reasoning is considered, these three topics are very important. If we know that what is a valid sentence and what is an invalid sentence, then only we are able to do other criteria, that is following by the logical reasoning. So I think you have an idea about what is square of opposition and all. By knowing that, we can deal with all these three subtopics. Okay. So without wasting time, we can move on to the class. Okay, be attentive to the class, then only you are able to understand it very properly. Okay. First, we are going to deal with what it is called the types of definition. Okay, that is, what is the types of definition? We have three types of definition we have to study. First one is stipulative. Okay, what it is called as stipulative. Stipulative is what is the meaning of it? Stipulative, that is, it's a newly coined definition. That is newly coined words. What we call it as stipulative. Okay. Example is selfie. You know that according to the trend, by using this mobile phones and all, the people started taking a lot of photo, and by seeing that, a new word came out that is known as selfie. Okay, we are taking ourselves our own photos, so a new word come out that is called selfie. Okay, so it is a newly coined word, and this type of finding new words for new according to the trend, what we call it as stipulative. What we call it as stipulative. Okay, so stipulative is a newly coined definitions. Newly coined definitions. Next is precising. Precising means understanding. Okay, precising what we mean is understanding. That is, understand from the situation. From the situations, we are able to understand a lot of things. For example, students in a school. We mean that students in a school means it's clear that they should be age below 18. No doubt for that. Okay. When you pass the 10th standard, it's 15. Then plus 2, 16 and 17. Maximum 17 only will be there. Though the students will be below age is always below 18 only. So it's an understanding from it. Okay. So understanding from the situation, it is clear that they are below the age 18. Next is pursue. Pursue means you are making others to do something related. Okay. Making to do something, what is called pursue. Pursue someone to do something. Example is an abortion means murder. It's against law. So you are giving an awareness to someone. Yeah, it is not right. It is not right to do the murder. So don't do it. So you are making some awareness to the people. So it is what we call as pursue. Okay, you are pursuing someone, and it is what we call it as, it's a kind of definition. Okay, so this is one of the example of it, that smoking is dangerous to health. We are making others to aware about it and making others don't do it. Okay, or do it something like that. If you are pursuing something, that is called another type of definition, that is called pursuing. So three is the stipulative, is newly coined words. Perceiving is understanding from the situation, and precising is understanding, sorry, precising is understanding from the situation, and pursue means you are making someone to do something in a proper way. So I think you are clear about the types of definitions. This stipulative have asked 2 or 3 times in our UGC NET exam. They have given one word and they asked whether it is stipulative, is precising or pursue type of definition. So you have to understand what it is. So I think now you are clear about it. Next is valid sentence or standard form. What is a valid sentence? In logical, okay, in logical reasoning, what is a valid sentence? So you are clear that there are two premises and one conclusion is there in the in the case of arguments. Okay, in the case of arguments, there are two premises is there and one conclusion is there. Okay, so this is the I have given here one example to understand, to make it understand easily. So premise one is there, premise two is there, and one conclusion is there. That is what we needed for an argument. Okay. Then I have told about it in the previous class. Okay, already we have discussed about the square of opposition and all, and about the arguments in the first class. Okay, so I think you have an idea about it. Those who didn't watch that video, please go and watch it. Then only you are getting an idea about what is argument. and the premise and conclusion in it. So if you have an argument, there are two premises and one conclusion is there. Understood? So how we can know that whether it is a valid or invalid? Okay, how we can know that? Look at this. After knowing this only, you are able to do the further problems related to it. Okay. For example, the first law is that is the premise one have a predicate. Okay, all men are mortal. In this, which is the predicate? Mortal is the predicate. Understood? The first law says that the premise one's predicate should be the predicate of the conclusion. Understand? The conclusion we see that all Socrates are mortal. So here also the predicate, which one came? This first ones, the premise one has a predicate. That same predicate came here as the predicate of the conclusion. So the first law is over there. And second law says that the subject of the premise 2, okay, the subject of the premise 2 should be the subject of the conclusion. Understood? The subject of the premise 2 should be the subject of the conclusion. This is the law to find whether the given sentence is a valid or not. What I have to do is that you have to know that the premise one have a predicate and it should be the predicate of the conclusion, and premise two have a subject and it should be the subject of the conclusion. Understood? And these all words have some names also is there. You might have heard the word major term. Okay, which is the major term? The major term is the predicate of the first sentence. Okay, predicate of the first sentence is the major term, and subject of the premise to or the second sentence is called the minor term. Understood? You should have to study it as such. It is a law, so you have to study the law, then you have to apply it. So the law says that the predicate of the first premise is the major term, and subject, that is the subject of the premise 2 is the minor term. So I have given here it in the right way, that is premise 1, predicate is the major term. Okay, well, which is the major term here? That is the mortal. And premise 2, subject is the minor term. Subject is the Socrates. Socrates is the minor term here. And which is the middle term? Middle term means the term or the words that come common in three of the sentences. Which one came as such a way? Which one is that? Men. Men, here it is, and all. So we can see the common words in both these sentences. So that is called, that is P1 and P2. We can see the men. So it is the middle term. Understood? So the middle term is the men because it is seen in both in the S1 and S2. Understood? So you get an idea, I think so. So how to find a valid sentence? First, you want to find the first sentence should have the predicate, and that predicate should be the predicate of the conclusion. And second sentence have a subject, and that subject should be the subject of the conclusion. Okay. And this is called the major term, and this is called the minor term. And which is the middle term? Middle term means that is the word which come in both sentences. That is man can be seen in the both one. So man has become the middle term in P1 and P2. Okay. Next is premise and conclusion. I have given an easy method to find whether the given statement is right or wrong. Okay, easy trick I have given here. If a sentence starts with all, that is all birds are animals. And second premise, it is also starting with all birds are bats. Okay, then the conclusion will be also in started with all. Okay. If the premise 1 and premise 2 start with all, the conclusion also will be start with all. If the premise 1 start with some and the premise 2 start with all, then the conclusion will be start with some only. Okay, the conclusion will start with some only, some. Then you have to see a common thing in this next four. Okay, if no is there, no, no. Here you see no, no. Here is also no is there. Here is also no is there. If the sentences one premises have no, then the answer should also, there's a major chance that it should be, the conclusion should be with the no only. Understood? Means negative sentence only. No means here negative sentence. So all is in first premise and no is in the second premise. Then conclusion will be starting with no. And some is in the premise 1 and no is in the premise 2. Then most often it will be with some not, or like that only. Clear? Then the first premise it will be with no, and second one is with all. Then the answer will be with some not or no. Okay. So negative sentence only come. Then no, it's starting with no and some, then it will also be with not. Okay, some not, like that only. That is this four. If there is any no in this, the conclusion will be always with the negative sentence only. So you have to study this. Okay, you have to by heart this. Then only you are able to understand. You understand it, then you by heart it. Then it is easy for you. So I have given this one because to do the works easily, you have to get an idea what is given and what not is given. So I think you are clear about what is a valid sentence. Now I think you are clear about how the sentences will come in the case of the all and all, then all only, some and all, then some only, all and no, then no only, some and no, then not only, no and all, not only, no and some, not only. So how the P1 and P2 and conclusion are related is given in a very best way. Okay. Next is what is the mood of a sentence. This is asked in the question paper a lot of time. So how to find a mood of a sentence? First, you have to find whether the sentence is valid or not. So that I have given you how to find the validity. That is, the premise one predicate should be the predicate of the conclusion, and precise to subject should be the subject of the conclusion. Okay. Now, if the sentence is valid, then put it in a standard form. That is a standard form I have given you. Then determine the mood. After that only we can find the mood of it. Then determine the figure, what kind of figure it follows. Okay. So we can see how it comes. That is square of opposition I have given you because already in the previous class you have seen it, but you might have forgotten how it comes. So I have given you again here. All, okay, this is all. A sentence that start with all, then A come here. That is A, E, I, U, U. That is vowels are using here. A, E, I, O. Okay. So a sentence that start with all, we are using here A. A sentence that start with no, we are using here E. And a sentence that start with some, we are using here I. And a sentence that contains some not, we are using here O. So this is using for making the moods, which are this A, E, I, and O. That is using for making the moods. See, for example, all birds are mortal. So what is the mood of that sentence? It is starting with all. So what we have to use the A. Okay. No birds are mortal. So no, which one we have to use here? That is E. Okay. And some birds are mortal. I is the mood of it. And some birds are not mortal. O is the mood of it. So how we can find the mood of a sentence? I have given you an example here. For example, three sentences are here. Okay. Okay. So find the mood of the sentence means some birds are mortal. Some, which one is you use A, E, I. I is using here. So I we have used written here. For all birds are mortal, which one you have to use there? A. So we have used here A, and some birds are not mortal. Which one is that? O. So what is the mood of it? I, A, O is the mood of it. So I think it's very clear for you. I think it is very clear. Is it? Some, that is I, all, A, some not, O is used. So what is the mode of it? This is the mode of it. I, A, O is the next. Another sentence, some birds are not mortal. Then O is there. Some birds are mortal. I is there. All birds are mortal. A. No birds are mortal. E. So what is the mode of it? O, I, A, E. So you want to find the first letter. Okay, after that you decide where this no will come in the square of opposition, where the all will come in the square of opposition, and some come in the square of opposition, some not come in the square of opposition. And what is the emblem? We are using symbol, not emblem, symbol we are using for it. And using that, we are making the mode of that sentences. Okay. So I think you are very familiar with all this. things might be, I don't know. Those who don't have an idea, I think they are clear about it. It's a very important area. Okay, the definitions they have asked in the UGC exams. Okay, that is stipulative, precising, and perceive. All this they have asked, and the stipulative have asked 2 or 3 times. So you must know that what is it. The next we talked about the valid sentence. If you know the validity, how whether the sentence is valid or not, then only you can understand the mode of the sentence. So after studying the validity of a sentence, we have studied the mode of the sentence. So it's an important area we covered in the logical reasoning. I think you are very clear about it. And I have to tell you is that you have to make your friends to view all this and make them to understand how we are able to understand it in a quick way. Okay. Then don't forget to subscribe this channel. Okay. Stay tuned with me and I will be in your next class with a next topic. Till then, goodbye. We can meet in the next class.